Hello there. So we're back to talking about thyroid again. All right. Last time we talked about Hashimoto and why that can get started and why that sometimes stays in the system. Today we're going to talk about what actually helps and what doesn't to support your thyroid from a more natural perspective, which needs to be done whether you're taking medications for your thyroid or not. Here's why most advice for thyroid fails, because most plans will start with supplements. It will start with restriction and elimination diets. Sometimes it's only medication adjustments, and that doesn't always fit the bill. That doesn't always do it. But physiology improves when we change the signals, not when we pile on different interventions. Here's one of the first things that I help people work through in my programs, and that's blood sugar stability. We need blood sugar stability to properly signal our thyroid to function properly. Thyroid function is tightly linked to energy availability. If you have unstable glucose, this raises stress signaling, more stress in the body. It reduces the activation of thyroid, so converting T4 to T3, and it signals unpredictability to the brain. This stable fueling instead tells the system that energy is reliable and that your metabolism is now safe to run and do what it's supposed to do. Usually we just are getting in its way, and that's where we stay stuck. Another thing we work through on a regular basis, and everybody should be doing this, is making sure that our protein intake is supporting our metabolic communication. Protein isn't just for muscles. It's not just for muscles. Proteins have so many roles. They are a functional macronutrient. Adequate intake of protein will support your hormone transport proteins. They transport things all over the body. Think of just hemoglobin. It transports oxygen throughout the body. When we have liver issues, which liver is a big part of conversion of T4 to T3 hormone, and if you are not supportive of that with protein, liver does not function quite as well as it should, or it's kind of clunky, and then conversion doesn't happen. Our lean mass requires less metabolic demand if we're not taking in enough protein. Protein is very metabolically active. And if we're taking in low protein, we're going to have lower metabolic messaging. This just all equals lower metabolism. And that is with everything, not just for weight loss. Another thing that needs to be dialed in if you really want your thyroid to heal itself and heal along with any medications you might be taking, you need to really rein in your sleep and your circadian rhythm. That's just when you're awake and when you're asleep. Thyroid signaling follows your circadian biology. Everybody has a little bit different circadian rhythm, but as humans, we are diurnal. We're supposed to be resting, restoring, recovering at nighttime, and wide awake and functioning properly during the day. If you have sleep disruption, this will alter your hormone rhythm coordination. It's going to alter cellular responsiveness. It's going to alter how your signaling is repaired. And if you are sleep deficient or having disrupted sleep ongoing, it is really going to be difficult to restore your metabolism and get it into an aligned rhythm. So sleep is key, critical here. There are several nutrients that need to be on board to help enable your thyroid physiology. We don't need to megadose. We just need to restore sufficiency, right? We want to have, sometimes it takes therapeutic repletion to get us back to baseline, but you do not need to megadose on any supplement. Selenium. I want you to primarily use foods to recover your selenium levels. This will help you convert your T4 to T3 much better. It helps with the enzyme to do that conversion. When you have ample levels of zinc, you're going to be having better receptor signaling for thyroid hormone. If you are having too little iron, you're going to have an oxygen delivery system, and it's going to impact your enzymes as well. So you need to have a good amount of iron. And one nutrient that's a little bit controversial in the thyroid space, especially with Hashimoto, is iodine. This requires balance, not an excess of it. And this nutrient just enables the function of so many different things. We have iodine receptors on so many tissues of the body, but it is really supportive of your thyroid health. You just have to know how to do it right. Basically, we don't want to just override the stress physiology that we have. We have to support it. We can't just shut it down and make it happen. We have to actually do the things to support our bodies. Reducing metabolic stress before adding protocols. Pretty much the first thing that I have most people do when they join my program is to really work on the stress reset. We have to reset that nervous system. And before asking your body to heal from anything, we have to allow your signals to work better. We have to remove the suppression. Often we need to correct chronic undereating. So many people, especially women, it seems, are eating super low calorie, and that is not going to do anything to improve their chronic stress and their balance and anything. So excessive training without recovery. If you are, burning the candle at both ends and you're feeling exhausted, and then you decide to do very intense training or lots of minutes of exercise at a high intensity and you're not actually recovering or sleeping, that is not going to allow your body, your thyroid, to heal. If you're constantly in fight or flight, this is going to be a problem. We have to get you back into rest and digest, and use fight or flight for times where your body's not safe, times when you need to react properly, like avoid a crash on the highway. We don't want to be constantly living in that fight or flight state when you feel those instant symptoms you feel if you do have to swerve out of the way to avoid a crash. You cannot live like that day to day. You have to get back into rest and digest. Having disrupted routines, irregular routines, where sometimes you go to bed at 9 o'clock at night, sometimes you go to bed at 2 in the morning, to have that kind of thing and that kind of schedule, that does not help your body feel safe and then support its metabolism. When the strain is reduced on your body and in your life, your body will then be able to restore its function. You just need to give it the time and space to do that. Sustainable patterns. Let's talk about what's sustainable, because sometimes we put so much on our plates and we're not able to sustain it. So we quit before we really get started or reap the benefits from it. Some simple things you can do. Maybe start with 1, maybe start with 2. Just start with something. Sustainable patterns that restore your responsiveness. These are things that will work long term. You're probably not going to notice a huge difference the next day, but over time, the cumulative effect will be worth it. You need to consistently fuel your body. I know that we've been talking about intermittent fasting over the last few years. We've been talking about extreme diets, and I think that they can work for therapeutic reasons for a specific time. But when you do it ongoing and you're still feeling terrible, then that's a sign that it's too much. We need to back off and we need to fuel our bodies consistently. 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 3-meal magic, make it nice and balanced, primarily whole foods. Too much of the weeds of that right now, but you just need to consistently fuel your body. You need to also give yourself some adequate recovery. If you do some high intensity workouts, you need to, balance it out with some things that are more like yoga flow or something a little bit more restorative, or maybe just a nice light walk or something like that. If you are in this fight or flight state all the time, that's very important. The other thing you can do, and it's a little hard because we like to watch our streaming sites and we like to look on our phone and stuff, but we need to have a predictable sleep and wake cycle, even on the weekends. Sometimes it's going to vary a little bit, but for the most part, you want to stay in a predictable sleep-wake rhythm. Okay, so gradual metabolic rebuilding. Like I said, many people I'm working with lately seem to be so under-fueled, and to go from 800 calories a day up to 1,800 calories a day seems like a huge leap, and it probably wouldn't feel very good to do that. So you need to just slowly titrate up your nutrition, get your energy in the form of those calories, good quality calories, those do count, and gradually help support your metabolic functioning. You will start to come back online if you actually refuel your body a little bit more efficiently. And then we need to lower the inflammatory load. This could be a whole topic in and of itself. So you need to reduce and remove the things that cause inflammation in your body. This can look different for, everybody, but most people are going to feel inflamed after eating junk food chronically, ultra processed foods, whether you're so used to it you don't even notice it, or you remove it for a while and then you add it back in and you notice different symptoms come up. That is your sign to lower the inflammatory load by removing ultra processed foods or making it a very minimal part of your diet. Also, your cleaning products, your body care products, those kind of things can cause a lot of inflammation. So, really work on changing those out. You can do that over time. Again, it's a cumulative process. Those things all will lower that inflammatory load. And we could get into other things that I won't get into all the details about that right now for this one, but really looking at how you can heal and seal up the gut, make sure that that's working properly so that that helps to lower your inflammation as well. This all creates the conditions that your thyroid hormone is waiting for so it can do what it's supposed to do. We, like I said, just get in its way, our body's way so much of the time, and we need to stop doing that and just do some of these simple, sustainable things. It's not sexy, it's not a quick fix, it's not a fad, it's just some basic things that you can do to help sustain and restore your thyroid function and then be able to sustain it. So, thyroid health isn't about forcing output, which is something I did for years and years and years because I was trying to feel better. And I thought if I just did more and did more of the different things and took more of the supplements, that it would magically work for me. And I didn't. So, you got to start with the basics. It's about removing the reasons the body chose to slow down in the first place. It was putting too much, you're putting too much of a burden on it, and then you just slow it down. You're just not working. So, basically, to wrap this up, when your physiology feels safe and you feel balanced and your body feels calm, your metabolism will follow. Your thyroid will work better. Your fat loss will become a thing that used to be like when you were younger. All those things will start to fall into place if you let it, if you don't keep in its way. That is that for this series. We'll be back with more information another time. So see you then. Take care. Bye bye.